So I feel like lately that all of you have been getting guided the way I feel I've been getting guided from your angels and ancestors and forces in the universe to like bring you to a place that you are seeing things as like a tree becoming aware of the roots below it being just like the thing, looking like the thing just like it is above, so as above so below. And I wanted to make a video message for the solstice just to kind of point out that this is the like this is the start of when the earth loses its tilt on its axis and it's in perfect weather conditions, and it's like that until December 25th, and that is the last day of the solstice, which in a lot of different cultures and texts that's called the golden dawn as well. And during this golden dawn, you all are solidifying a part of yourselves this week during this solstice like you never have before. Like you're doing things that may scare you, or you may thinking things that you might have not given attention to because you feel like some kind of existential hopelessness in that thought or something. But I feel like a lot of us are coming into a place where we're getting enough guidance from either like media that we follow or people influences, any energies around us. We're like reading, I can tell that you're reading energy a lot more intentionally lately. And during the solstice, this is the time to become nothing. And I know that if this message is meant for you, you should know what I mean by that. Like you are becoming like in the peaceful awareness of having like a nothingness, like just like um, just like in metamorphosis, like the larva stage, like in the cocoon stage to the butterfly, and the code of the codex of the DNA of the larva of that cycle is like when you look in, like if you like kind of look into its DNA and what would come up to what property would make its genealogy, it would come up as a butterfly, not a larva or not a cocoon, but a butterfly. So you guys are coming into a place where you guys are basically coming out of your shell or coming out of your cocoon, or just breaking out of the shell of the walls of the egg that you've had around you, that society has kind of put this kind of illusionary thing over you. And I know that this is something that like I don't feel hugely comfortable sharing because I don't like the like hate and stuff, but like I I I've kind of realized this solstice that I'm basically a Jewish soul, I've had a lot of visions about the Cabal and stuff when I was like a teenager, and learned a lot of like Hebrew words and was very interested in the epistles to Hebrews and just a lot of things with the Israelites. But I've always kind of put them more on a pedestal, I guess, to come to realize that all of my spiritual knowledge that allows me to read tarot and different things actually comes from Jewish heritage. And also, Jesus was raised a Jew, so that kind of brings me comfort because I've always believed in him as a real person that existed. But but I was raised like Christian slash Catholic, I guess, like for a long time. Even though at a very young age, I took on studying a lot of different religions. But one I didn't touch on was Judaism, and it was more because it felt like really hyperly sacred to me compared to all the other ones I studied of all the other major religions. And I come to the realization that I think the reason I felt that was what is because like everything about Christmas and things, like it's all surrounded by things that happen in Israel, you know? And I just feel like I'm just like I think all souls are meant to be what they're supposed to be. Like some souls are meant to be Muslim, some souls are meant to be um, Christian, some souls are meant to be Buddhist or whatever. Like every soul's meant to be, however, brings that physical vessel closer to God based off of what they've come to realize and what they can no longer ignore. And for me, like I'll always have a special place in my heart for like all national holidays because of being American and being proud to be partially American. but I genuinely feel like I need to start a path and kind of chronologize little words of like the journey of that for you guys and myself to see the transformation of what my thoughts and feelings are. And yeah, I think that, yeah, I'm ready to transform, and I know you guys are ready to transform. And I'm sure that that could mean for you getting a new job or a new relationship or something. For me, it's a few different things, not just like being Jewish person, I guess. And it's so funny because I'm a David Michael and Dmichael, so Star David is going to be something deeply that I'm going to try to kind of rep more a little bit, because I really have always had that in my heart, kind of, because I've always studied the Seal of Solomon and many other things in ancient texts that kind of just led me to this place where I'm just like, I'm just hyper aware of consciousness and spirit and the one true God, kind of, I feel, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And I just feel like I, I am tapped into that God. I've never seen a vision of Jesus Christ in my entire life in my dreams. And I've recorded my dreams since I was 4. I can remember them all. My family and friends all know this. And I've never seen him himself, but that's not a big deal to me. I mean, I've seen Sonic the Hedgehog. So, like, you know, like for me, it's like I've dreamt about a lot of unrealities and realities, and our world, when you're awake, is filled with a bunch of realities and unrealities. And Jesus is like a Superman, and that's okay. But, like, I just feel like I'm called to bring myself to a place where I just am gonna be honest with what I really feel in a more public domain and not feel like too bad about it. And it's just that like my soul is Jewish. I was given visions of that kind of nature and those kind of words and texts and things a lot outside of like some other cultures like Spanish and Japanese and Chinese, a few other cultures I've dreamt their languages of. But it all brings me back to like just Judaism and a lot of that. And for me, it's like that's a big deal for me because I've lived my whole life like believing in Christ as like king. But it's just like I've always believed in deep down that like I feel like we all are kings and queens to some level in God's, the one true God's eyes. And that's why I just kind of came to that conclusion. But it doesn't take away anything of like celebrating or doing anything. I'm just gonna be going through a deep dive that I'm gonna try to record of like really studying that culture, because that's what I am truly. And it's not anything that I am like now. It's just something I've always been, and I've always just kind of you know um, humored all other religions and spiritual ideas, because as somebody that's recorded all your dreams, I don't just dream of like regular 3D astral projected reality. I dream about like these weird other worlds and like the ones that we've made up in humanity that like people buy as franchises and stuff. So, but I feel like they all glorify the one true God in the way that He entailed for them to when He brought them into consciousness of consciousness itself, which is us. So I guess during this solstice, just be very mindful these next 5 days, and just whatever your truth is, don't feel scared to just explore what that is for you. It may be like a super deep thing like that. For me, that's very deep because I like cherish religious things. But like I've always just known so much about the Cabal, and I use that to read tarot and be a psychic. And the reason I have like psychic powers in my reality and my family and friends' reality is because of my knowledge of Judaism that God gave me, which is like basically to everybody in my life, it's like the magical power God given me, and that's coming from like Israeli kind of roots of where the dreams and everything and the visions of angels and things I've seen come from. So I just, yeah, I just wanted to share that, I guess, on top of just whoever else is going through some big change with relationship or work or anything. But I feel like hearing other people's lives can like trigger random revelations within us that are maybe slightly unrelated or not related at all to what I just said, but it still triggers something in you to maybe like go off. But just be mindful during this solstice this year. Um, 2025 is a big year in the Hebrew calendar and the calendar that's not altered. by the one authority of the world, and things are gonna get crazy, and the one true Messiah will come sooner than not, whether it's in people first and then him, or him and then people, but either way it's gonna come, or has, or is. And I feel like everybody that watches these kind of videos is an example of humanity coming into godliness, of like understanding the one true God is whatever our super version of that is for our hyperdimensional self. And we need to stop hiding from that hyperdimensional self and be okay that we may be praying to something sometimes that we don't know what it is, because God and Christ or the Messiah doesn't have a face. Messiah doesn't have a face and God doesn't have a face. Because if Jesus is really like us, then I feel like if he was the Messiah, if he came back, then he might not be going by that name. He might be, what's to say he doesn't change it and he's known as something else because of something else that we're not aware of, you know, in our fathoming of humans and humanity's understanding of things. But he can be a whole new man, which he's supposed to be if everything is like that. But the Messiah is faceless and God is faceless, and that's the beauty of them, which is why we can attach meaning in our own personal relationship with God, because it is formless and it's nothing. So just be comfortable with becoming nothing right now. And whoever you're deeply in love with, be deeply in love with them. Don't give up on your twin flame. I never will. Not ever. And if you're in a job that you feel really comfortable and happy about and excited about, then stay in that job. If you're really been wanting to start something new right now, this is the time to start it. The solstice and equinox are wonderful times to start new endeavors. But the solstice of this golden dawn of the 21st to the 25th of the last day, Sagittarius transitioning into Capricorn. This is like a time that solidifies a lot of things at the stroke of midnight of the golden dawn. Whatever your nothingness has come to hold on a core level, it will solidify in the stars and planets that align with the heavens and angels above the divine. So be mindful this 5 days of what goes on. You know, I'm going to try to as well. I have a very strict schedule with like working out, and pretty much everything goes around that one pretty much, because that's the one that kind of sets off and sets up for the one naturally, I guess, for all my working schedule and stuff. So you just come in balance with your schedule, with your relationships. If somebody you care about needs you, be there for them. If they don't want you to be there, don't be there for them. But if God calls you to still, even after, then do what you can in your power to show them in their language that you're their ally. I feel like that's a specific message for somebody. And to anybody starting anything new or trying to get a promotion at work or anything with career stuff, just know that every job is beautiful. There's not one job under the sun that's not really cool and creative in its own special way and fun, and gives you a lot of different advantages just because it's there to give you money and exist. But I love you guys. Please like, share, and subscribe if you can. It really help me spread the word and spread the journey of my conversion from my Christian Catholic roots into my trueness of my Judaism soul. Don't mind my grammar. Sometimes I have perfectly eloquent vocabulary, and then spirit just isn't there to back it up, and then that comes out. But I'll talk to you guys later. Let me see if anybody said anything. No, it's okay. I don't really get on here to talk to people anyway. It's just to make videos so I don't have to edit and stuff. I just want to be organic and raw with what I'm feeling and thinking. I feel like I'm going to start editing when I have a better following, because that's when I'll feel called to do that, and that's what God's told me that's probably best for me. Get comfortable with being on camera, because I'm not comfortable being on camera. The lights bother my eyes a lot, and just like a lot of other things. But I love you guys, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.